Alright everyone, welcome to our channel, and today in this video, we're going to be talking about vector addition in different quadrants. So, vector addition in different quadrants. Alright, now if you recall from our previous videos, we have just been working vectors that are purely on the positive y and x. However, that's not going to be all your cases. Those were for you to understand what a vector was and how to calculate its components. Now, in a more likely scenario, you're going to be given directions: north, south, east, and west. Now you're going to be given vectors. Let me find a color for our vector number 1. Let's go with right there. So let's say our first vector, and I'm also going to be introducing in this video some new concepts that you may not be familiar with, some new terminology, so it will help you later on. So let's say this vector A, that on top just means it's a vector which has magnitude and a direction. That's all it means, nothing complicated. So let's say this one is equal to 10 newtons magnitude at an angle, or at 50 degrees north of east. Now you've been wondering, north of east, I've never heard that. I always hear northeast, southwest, etc. Now north of east just means starting at east, so this is your starting point, and this is where you're heading. So let's go ahead and try it right here. So 10 newtons, all I'm doing here is I'm adding units. Newtons is a unit of force. You may not know that, or you may. So it's a unit of force. If you refer to our past videos, I've been doing unitless, but now I decided to introduce a unit just to show you how it carries over. N means newtons. So 10 newtons at 50 degrees north of east. Well, that means 10 newtons magnitude, 50 degrees. So here we started at east and we went north. So right here, 50 degrees. And now let's say, let me choose a different color, lemon, vector B. I don't like that color. Let's go with blue. That's much better. So vector B is equal to 5 newtons at 45 degrees east north of east. So again, you start at the east, you go to the south, I might say south, otherwise we would be doing the same quadrant like we did on the past one. So this angle right here will be 45 degrees. Now you're going to add them, and then your new vector, or your resultant, how it's better known as, will be somewhere, just going to take a wild guess, somewhere right here. And this is called your resultant, which just means the addition of the vectors. Now, our resultant is also going to be known as vector A plus vector B. Okay, so that's all it means. Remember, this fancy little hat just means vector, which means magnitude and direction. Now, how do we find our resultant if we are given A and B? Well, we're going to have to break it down like we have done it before. So now, let me switch back to black. Now let's go ahead and do that right here. So let's break it down into components x, y, vector A, B, and the resultant A plus B. Oops. All right. So now, from our previous videos, we know that our x in this case, right here, from the green one, is going to be 10 cosine 50 degrees Newton, and our y is going to be 10 sine 50 degree newtons. I didn't give myself enough space. For b, on the x, notice that the x is still on the positive axis, correct? So this is going to be 5 cosine 45 newtons, and this is going to be negative 5 cosine, I'm just going to keep on going here, cosine carry over 45 degrees newtons, right? Now if you add them, remember, make sure your calculator is in the degrees. In the degree mode, you end up having 9.96 newtons, and you end up having 4.12 newtons. Remember, you're subtracting the y's because this is the positive y, and this is your negative y. So vector A is going over the positive y, while vector B is going on the negative y. So that's why you're subtracting them. So now we have the coordinates x and y for our vector, or resultant, or A plus B. Now we have to give them the magnitude. How do we do that? Well, magnitude in physics is just known as this almost looking absolute value of A plus B. These two lines around it just means magnitude, and from our previous videos we know that that's just the square root of x total squared plus y total squared, and those values are these, which will be right here. So now we're going to plug those values in for A plus B, which are these right here. Now we're going to do 9.96 squared Newton squared plus 4.12 Newton squared. Take the square root of that. It gives you a value of 10.78 newtons. I would suggest you pause this video and do it in your calculator to make sure you're getting the same answer. Now, in order to find our angle, because remember, the resultant is a vector, so we need to give them a magnitude, which we found from here, plus a direction. So now, in order to find that, we're going to do the arctangent, tangent to the -1, inverse tangent. Now, notice how both values, the y and the x and y, are over the positive. That means this vector that I drew right here was actually a coincidence, and both end up being on the positive. So remember how to find an angle right here. We do opposite, which in this case is the y. I'm going to do parentheses, over adjacent, which in this case it's going to be x. So now plugging that in, opposite, which is the y, it's 4.12 newtons, and the x is 9.96 newtons. Newtons cancel out, and then your angle ends up being 22.47 degrees. However, you're not done yet. You have the magnitude and the angle. But remember how they gave you the problem. 10 newtons at 50 degrees north of east, 5 newtons at 45 south of east. Now you have to give them the answer in the same way. So now we're going to say the resultant. Let me write the final answer. Resultant, or A plus vector A plus vector B, is equal to 10.78 newtons at 22.47 degrees. Remember that both were positive, so that tells us that it's on this quadrant. Therefore, we are going to say north of east, because it starts at the east. We're starting at east and we're moving towards north. So we're saying north of east. I hope that helped. Let us know in the comments if you need to know anything specifically. Would like to see a video, let us know in the comments. Remember to like us on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. Thank you.